So I was called a sellout today because I happen to have a real ID. I don't know if you guys saw it or have heard about it, but I had a video a couple days ago. I'm sure you've seen this all over social media about the push for real ID by Kristi Noem and basically our government. By May 7th, 2025, they want everybody who plans on flying to have a real ID. Now, real ID, just as a little backstory here or back info, whatever, is basically your driver's license, but with a little star in the top corner, whether it's a gold star or a black star, or California, I think they have like a bear in the corner. And all that real ID is proving that you are a legal citizen of the United States of America. In order to get it, you're supposed to have your birth certificate that shows you were born here. You're supposed to have, I think, 2 forms of bills for your home and something else that I can't remember right this second, marriage certificate if your last name is different than your birth certificate. I think you have to have your social security card. Well, I live in Florida. In Florida, if you're going to go get a driver's license in general, you have to bring all those things with you because guess what? They only do real IDs. Like if you happen to be a citizen, that's what you're going to get. So I have a real ID. That's not me being a sellout. It's me wanting to have a driver's license so that I can drive and go to the bar and do whatever else a driver's license is needed for, right? So for people who want to call me a sellout, fuck off. Like that, I'm saying that as nice as humanly possible. Doing what you need to do in order to have a driver's license does not make you a sellout. Number one. Number two, I wanted to get an American-made car. Well, not me, my husband. He wanted to get an American-made car, right? He wanted to buy an American brand. We wanted to go get a Chevy, a specific Chevy that we had been looking at for the last couple weeks. And in order to do so, if you're not going to pay cash, you have to have your credit, right? You need credit so that you can get a loan for a vehicle. We wanted to get this before all the tariffs kick in and all the issues with the car dealerships possibly kick in. Although I personally and my husband, we are not really worried about the fact that the tariffs should go up, but we do know that companies are greedy and they will jack the prices of things up on purpose because they know the American people are scared and worried about tariffs because a lot of people don't really understand how it all works. So we wanted to get this vehicle before they decide to go absolutely stupid with these prices, right? We're going to trade in a vehicle, get this vehicle, whatever else. So in order to do that, instead of going to the dealership and letting them run my credit to 16 to 20 different banks, I decided to go to my own personal credit union and apply for an auto loan through my credit union. So I only had to have my credit pulled one time. My auto loan was approved immediately, but the way they do it with the credit union is they don't send a check immediately. It takes them 24 to 48 hours. They still send out paper checks. They don't do wire transfers and stuff like that, which a lot of people are thinking that's crazy. Well, the car dealership thought that was crazy as well. And they said, if we don't have a check in hand today, like if they don't wire us the money, you can't take the car. And I said, okay, you know what? That actually makes sense. Let me go through Bank of America, which I know is, devil spawn. We don't love Bank of America, but I've had it since I was 16 and they technically have not done me wrong in the whole time I've had Bank of America. So I go to Bank of America and .com. I didn't go into the locations, but bankofamerica.com. And I applied for an auto loan through Bank of America. Again, second time my credit was pulled. 2 times. That's it, right? 2 times. And automatic approval, because I told you guys before, I took my credit score from like 535 up to 840. And it's not 840 now. It's hovering closer to the 800 mark after buying a house. Weirdly, being approved for a home loan and getting all these things drops your credit. The way our credit system works is absolutely ridiculous to me, but it dropped my credit some, but it's still good enough to get a loan approved immediately with a good APR percentage, whatever, right? So I have this approved loan from Bank of America and I have an approved loan from APCU, which is where I go, which is in Atlanta, right? And so, I call the guy and I say, hey, listen, I have everything set. We'll be there at about 3 o'clock today and we're on our way. And so we start driving. And my husband's talking to the guy, the salesperson at the dealership that happens to be in Panama City. That's all I'm going to put out there. I'm not going to drag them through the mud, although I really should. Maybe I will later because I feel like everybody should know when businesses are more interested in the profit than actually the sale. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we explained to this guy, hey, listen, we have everything already taken care of. We've got everything's ready to go. Once we get there, we'll hand you the stuff. You hand us the car and everybody's happy. Everybody's home by 5 for dinner, right? And the guy says, well, once you get here, of course, we'll have to go into finance and we'll just need to pull your credit. And I was like, no, you don't. We've already been pre-approved. I have everything. I have the reference number from Bank of America. That's all you guys need, because technically it's like we're coming to you with cash and all you have to do is give us the car. The loan has already been approved. And they said, well, no, we still need to run your credit. Why? Here's why. You want to know why they need to run our credit? Because a lot of times at these car dealerships, the finance people make commission off of the financing that you do with them. So they may be able to get you a lower APR, but if they have a higher APR, maybe they make more money, whatever else. But for people like us who were not going to finance through this dealership, there's no money to be made off of us in that way for the finance guy. And I told the guy, I said, there's no need for us to have you run my credit 16 times to all these different banks when I've already run it twice. It's perfectly fine. I've been approved completely. And they said, well, no, we still need to run your credit even though you have an approval and a reference number. We can't do it from a reference number. And I'm like, is this your first time selling a car? Because that's exactly how you can approve a loan. It's through this reference number from Bank of America. You can call them. Y'all can speak to each other and then you can give me the car, right? And they said, no, we'd have to pull your credit. And I said, cool, keep your car. Did a U-turn, came back home, because it's the principle of it. You would think listen, there's gonna be people out there going, I can't believe you're bitching about, not being able to buy a car, blah, 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 blah. But it comes down to, again, the principle of this. This company here in the United States of America that I was going to buy a vehicle from, I had the money to just hand them the money because they weren't going to make a certain amount of money for their own pockets. They decided they would rather have no sale at all. How incredibly stupid is that? And then my question is, I wonder if the manager of the location knows. I wonder if the person who owns the location knows that their finance guy, if he's not going to make a little extra off the top, he loses the sale completely. Absolutely ridiculous. There's this restaurant that we went to here, same topic-ish, but kind of a little different. Follow me here, squirrel brain, right? There's this restaurant we went to here with our friends. And my friend, she says, hey, they only take cash or check at this restaurant. And I was like, no, there's no way. They've got to take credit cards. That's weird. So she sends me a screenshot from their website that says they take cash or check, and they have like an ATM in the building if you want to get cash out to pay with. And my brain is looking at this two different ways. Number one, this is a business who will not have to then move that 3.5% credit card interest fee onto the person paying because they're not taking credit cards. That's going to save them money. Also, they're getting cash in hand. That's great for business to have all that cash right there at the end of the day. Also a really good way to get robbed. So you got to be real careful about that, especially when people know that you're sitting on a ton of money because you don't take credit cards. But then I'm like, why would you take checks in this day and age? Like, you're not going to take a credit card, but you'll take a check? That felt really weird. It's just interesting that here we are. We want to go to the places that accept cash. We get pissed off at the places that don't accept cash. But if they only accept cash, sometimes that's a real big inconvenience for the person. Because this restaurant, I mean, you got 4 people going. You're going to have an appetizer, maybe an entree, a drink, possibly a dessert. It's going to get kind of expensive, right? And so when you go to pay and they're like cash only, I don't generally love driving around with a lot of cash on me. I keep a specific amount. It is small. It is enough for gas or groceries if necessary. But that's it. I generally use my American Express. Like I've told you guys before, I don't use my bank card for shit because that is my money attached to that card. And if anything goes wrong, that's my money that gets held up. If something happens with my American Express, oh, well, hate it for American Express. It's not holding up my money. It's holding up their money at that point. It is much safer to use your credit card than it is to use your bank Visa or bank MasterCard or whatever you have that's attached to your personal money. So I always have my credit card with me, and I'd much rather use it, get the points, get the perks, get the whatever, than spend my cash when I don't need to spend my cash. But I understand completely why it's a very difficult situation for people and businesses to be in, because at the end of the day, cash is king, no matter how you want to look at it. Now, a lot of people, we've been talking about this for, I don't know, like 2 years, the CBDC, central bank digital currency. And a lot of people have been saying that President Trump's tariffs are designed to, well, I've said this part, that his tariffs are designed to bring back the fair trade, basically, where everybody has the same tariff fees, import, export across the board. That way it is fair trade, right? But if you stop and think about it, a lot of people will say, well, if you have a fair trade like that, it's going to devalue everybody's money. There's not going to be any reason why the American dollar should have more value to it than the yen or than the peso or whatever else is out there, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to even the playing field when it comes to money. It could crash the American dollar. It could skyrocket the peso so that everybody's on the same field. Because right now, the American dollar, I mean, it destroys the peso. That's nothing compared to the American dollar. But if they're on the same playing field, it's going to be this financial just cluster, right? So then people are saying that if the tariffs go through, there's a whole issue here. The tariffs get zeroed out or whatevered out and everybody's on the same playing field. And then all the money loses its value. Then we end up what? Central bank digital currency. You end up with these places who aren't going to take cash, like we just talked about. You end up with a worldwide money system that doesn't really have much value to it. So then you have people going, okay, well, that's how you get into crypto and Bitcoin and whatever else. Is this whole kerfuffle, which I don't know if that's the right word. I just wanted to use kerfuffle in a sentence today. But I am personally not worried about CBDC. That shit was supposed to fall into place, what, June or July of last year or the year before? We talked about it here, where mainstream media was pushing the fear that this is when it's going to happen. Be scared, be worried. I am tired of jumping on to the fear train. I know over the last 3 years. How long have we been here, Squirrel Tribe? 3 years. Nope. I think it's been 3 years. February, I think, was 3 years. I have been part of the fear factor push, not purposefully, right? But when we have conversations, sometimes there's a little fear to it. Sometimes there's a little anger to it. Sometimes there's a little bit of whatever. But now I want nothing to do with it. If somebody is screaming, the sky is falling, I'm going to tell y'all, hey, listen, there's some people saying the sky is falling. I looked up, shit ain't happening, like whatever. Instead of going, oh no, y'all, it's possible. Be careful, be worried, be scared. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're whatever. Nobody has time for that anymore. Nobody has time for that anymore. And the fact that I don't do it is also why YouTube does not push me anymore. Why not half, but a lot of people have left because for some reason they want to stay in this scared time of like fight or flight. Ew, why? No, we're not doing that anymore. The era of fear is over. Now it is, this is what's happening and you deal with it. It's either good or it's bad, but these are the facts. This is my opinion and it is what it is. So you're going to get, like I've said before, just all kinds of random videos. If you watched yesterday's, we're talking about the Japanese death penalty versus the US death penalty. I thought that shit was fascinating. YouTube was like, we don't really care about this. So they didn't really show it to anybody. And that's fine because I enjoy talking about it. And some of y'all enjoyed listening to it. A lot of y'all left. I guess not your cup of tea. Perfectly okay. I'm not going to be everybody's person. You know what I mean? Just like everybody is not going to be somebody I enjoy. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're going to have honest discussions about honest topics, random shit. Sometimes it's political. Sometimes it's family related. Sometimes it's woman related. Sometimes it's economy related. Sometimes it's about my dog. Who knows? It can be a little bit of absolutely everything. And that's how I like it over here on Squirrel Tribe. And hopefully you do too. And if not, that's okay. I promise you it's okay if you're like, this chick ain't for me anymore. It's fine. No hard feelings, no ill will, none of that stuff. What is that phrase? There's a season for everybody. Some people are for a reason, a season, and a something. I never remember it. I'm sure it's on t-shirts and coffee mugs and dish towels somewhere. Like I know it's out there, bumper stickers. I don't know. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about though. But at the end of the day, today was supposed to be a really fun day for my husband. He was supposed to get his dream car. And instead, it's still sitting at the dealership, and now we're continuing looking somewhere else because that dealership in Panama City that happens to have a Chevy that my husband wanted, they've had it for over a month, but because those people are absolutely dog shit stupid, they didn't get a sale. But I still have an approval letter from Bank of America and my credit union that I could go anywhere else in the next 30 days and do the trade and get the car if we want to. So that's good. But it makes it very hard for people to go out and try to spend money in this economy when there's businesses in this economy who think they're too good for the people that are spending the money. Dumbasses. That's what that comes down to. Dumbasses. Anyway, that's all. Random. That's how we do over here some days. I love y'all immensely. We were going to talk about Katy Perry and Gayle King and all that, fake landing, flight, outer space stuff. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to talk about those bimbos and how they're trying to say they've made the way for female astronauts. Oh, no, 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 no. Y'all aren't astronauts, number one. Number two, it was the fakest shit I've ever seen in my life. Maybe we'll have a discussion on it later, but that's it for now. That's all. I love y'all immensely, Squirrel Tribe. Thank you for being here for the impromptu, whatever this was. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your hump day, because it is Wednesday. Happy hump day, my dudes. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow, okay?